Hey everyone, John here with Pro H Paintball. I am back in the tech room today. I have the Spyder Victor. This is probably the most popular entry-level paintball gun that's out there. It's around $60 to get started typically. Very simple to work on and maintain. So today we're going to show you how to break it down, how to clean it, and what to watch out for if you just got your gun. Let's get started. Alright, to get started cleaning your Spyder Victor, you're going to want a barrel swab. This is the Exalt one. This is the one we recommend. Of course, we do carry those. Your paintball gun oil, your Allen set, and a small rag. First things first, make sure your air tank is completely off your gun. Make sure there's no air inside the gun, and make sure there's no paint inside the barrel. So you want to go ahead and unscrew the barrel. That way it's just easier to handle, and set this off to the side. Okay, so these are pretty straightforward, pretty simple. You want to this little pin up top, this is for your bolt. You want to go ahead and pull this straight up and out the back of the gun. Before you do that, you notice that it actually does have spring tension against it. So as I pull it back, it wants to go forward. That is the correct way it's going to work. So go ahead and pull that pin up and then slide it out the back of the gun. And that is going to be your firing bolt. And then, depending on what year Spyder Victor you have, you want to go ahead and unscrew this with your hands. Sometimes there's a set screw inside of them that will, or on the back of it, to keep it from wanting to come out or come loose. Also, if you can't get this piece to unscrew, make sure your grip frame screw isn't pressing all the way into through the body and into this piece in the back of the gun. Sometimes if you bought a used gun and somebody's put a too long of a screw, it'll actually go through and it will grab this piece. So if you're cranking on this and it won't come off, just unscrew that back screw just a little bit and it'll pull it off. Okay, so go ahead and unscrew. This is your velocity adjuster with your spring guide. That's what this is called. So velocity adjuster is in the inside and also works as your spring guide, which means your main spring sits on top on it. Okay, so then you're gonna have what's called a bumper. I typically recommend take an Allen key. You can pull it out this way, like this. Pretty straightforward. It's a little rubber piece, or you can do it from the top. Take your Allen key and grab. There's a small little hole in the next piece, and go ahead and pull that to the back, and then one more time, and it's going to slide everything out the back of the gun. So you have a couple options there. So that's going to be your bumper. That actually goes on the spring inside the gun. And then you have your hammer itself. This is the top portion of the gun is completely cleared through now. So this is pretty much all of the working internals on the inside of the gun except for the valve. And that's stationary. It does have a small piece that moves inside, but that's not for normal maintenance. So once you've got to this point, you want to take your swab and go ahead and clean it through the top a couple times. If you don't have a swab, paper towels, something like that, that's not going to leave any residue or any pieces behind. Make sure you clean that out. A soft rag, something like that you can get through, will work real well too. So go ahead and clean that out. The reason why you want to clean the top part out so much is because this is where the paintballs fly or actually go through. That's where this bolt has to move forward and backwards. And if for some reason there's a bunch of dirt and debris on here, that's when you'll shoot your gun, it'll go forward and you have to recock it every single time. It's because this part needs to be cleaned and this part needs to be cleaned. So this is the bottom tube. So you can take your swab here, kind of just spin it around and clean the bottom out as well. So you want to go ahead and wipe down the O-rings on this piece here. That is your hammer. Wipe down on the bolt system here. And you're pretty good, straightforward there. Make sure no paint or any debris inside of this. And you want to take your paintball gun oil, put a couple drops on the hammer O-ring here. So for some reason your gun is very old, I would recommend to change this with a number 15 O-ring. I believe it's what it is. A couple drops there, and then a couple drops on this here. Not very much. These don't really seal air behind them at all times, but definitely want a little bit of lubrication to help it guide its way through the gun, but not a ton. And you're pretty straightforward. Pretty easy going on that one. Okay, so just to show you how everything goes together back inside the gun. So you have your hammer, your bolt, those click together. So remember at the beginning of the video, we pulled this piece up. That's what we were doing. We're disconnecting these two pieces from each other, just like that. And then your spring guide, and go just like this and sit inside of your gun. So that's how it is. Some people try to put this together backwards, like this. Of course, there's no way for your spring to go in. So just like that, goes just like that. Pretty straightforward. So when you fire the gun, the hammer hits the valve, which allows air to come up through the bottom of the bolt system here and out the front, and the air is what fires the paintball. Okay, so to put this back together, you want to drop the hammer into the back of the gun with that hole facing up. So just like this, and it's going to get stuck. The reason why is you're going to have to press it with your thumb while pulling the trigger at the same time. So I'm pressing the back while pulling the trigger. It's going to go forward one time. I'm going to do it one more time. So I'm going to press my finger while pulling the trigger. This allows it to go all the way forward. And again, you want to make sure that hole that we just talked about is facing up. Then we're going to take our bolt system, and this little pin here, we want it to click into that hole on the top of the hammer. And you can feel it, it'll kind of click into place. The way to make sure that these are connected correctly is if you looked in the back of the gun, you'll see the two holes here. As I lift this up, you'll see both pieces are moving together. That means they're connected correctly. Next, you can put your bumper, a little rubber piece, into the back of the gun, just right here on the threads. Make sure it's flat. Then you want to drop your mainspring. And you're going to go ahead and take your velocity adjustment and your back cap and screw those into place. And you're done. So again, you want to make sure, the way to make sure that everything's 100% put back together is you want to pull this cocking piece back, and as long as there's spring tension against it, meaning when I let go it wants to go forward, you've done it correctly. If for some reason there's no spring tension against it, as you can see like that, that means it's not in the correct place inside the hammer. What I mean by that is that hammer, remember, has a hole in the top of it. If for some reason that hole has spun and it's facing the wrong way, pull everything back out, line it up again. It may take a couple tries, or a little trick that we have is you can use this knob here in the back, and it will sometimes make that hammer spin left and right because it's all under spring tension. So you'll see that hole kind of moving back and forth. If that doesn't work, again, just pull everything out of the gun, put it back together. You can hear it click twice, and we're good to go. While you're in here, go ahead and take your 3mm Allen key. See if I have it. Yep, here. And go ahead and tighten up your frame screws. These do loosen up real bad on this gun. You don't want to do too much, but definitely tighten them up. They shouldn't be real loose. The front and back. And then also your bottom line, go ahead and tighten those up. That way nothing comes loose when you're playing. Oh, that one was extremely loose. There we go. And then if you have a Phillips head screwdriver, you want to go ahead and tighten up the feed neck here. You will have to take out this screw here in the back of the feed neck in order to get to the other screw there. But this feed necks do loosen up quite often, so that's always a smart thing. If you're going to go ahead and work on the gun, go ahead and do everything. That way it's good to go. So other than that, you are pretty good to go. I mean, that is pretty much takes care of everything you'll need on the basic service and cleaning of your gun. You would want to do this probably once a month. Let's say you play 2 weekends out of the month and you shot a decent amount of paintballs. Let's say 500 rounds to 1,000 rounds each day you went out. You want to go ahead and service it, wipe down the outside of the gun, and go ahead and lube it and clean it up. It's pretty inexpensive. This bottle of gun oil will last you probably a year if you cleaned it up once a month, at least a year. And of course your swab, if you take care of them, they'll last you forever as well. So they'll last you at least a year if you're doing them right. Make sure you don't dry them though. Just hang dry them. If you guys have any questions about your Spyder Victor, any leaks, any specific questions or issues that you're having, or anything I missed in the video, make sure you comment below. Keep it nice, of course. If you did find value in our video, make sure you take a second and like the video. And if you like tech videos and product review videos, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Thank you guys for watching.